Everyone, thanks for joining me. You're about to watch a video that's mainly about physical therapy for my knee. I injured my meniscus over the summer, and the next part of this video after this introduction is just going to be the therapy I do at home that isn't strength training, it's not weightlifting, it's not necessarily anything that needs to be done in the gym. And it was to basically lengthen the posterior chain of my leg, but it's just for anyone with knee injuries. You might benefit from just the type of activation and strengthening and stability you can get from the dynamic stretches and exercises I'm doing. And they were prescribed to me by a physical therapist, so if you do have a knee injury, get your own, professional help. But regardless, I usually find that when I watch people's videos about injuries and rehab and prehab, I usually benefit from it by just taking something, whether it's a new exercise or just like a new mindset when it comes to whatever body part it's about. And also visited the surgeon yesterday in the chalazion, whatever it's called, I guess officially what it's called, was apparently healing fine. So it's scabbed up and it should just peel off any day now, which will be probably really gross, but cross that bridge when we get to it. Another thing, I have a few books I want to just go over here. Starting Strength, the OG by Mark Ripto. This is a huge book. So I'm going to try to read this and make videos about it and kind of bring it to you guys. This is something that was written, I'm not sure, in the 80s or 90s, I'll let you know. But it's basically things that have kind of gotten lost in what's popular today in bodybuilding. So on Instagram and on YouTube, you see a lot of just machine work and training splits that some of them are pretty legitimate nowadays, that powerlifting kind of got popular, but you guys know what I mean. There's a lot of bad information. Instead of not saying anything at all, people who don't know the basics will really try to inform people and teach people a lot. So I find that Starting Strength will probably teach me the basics better than I have ever known them. And who knows, maybe I'll bring something out from the book to you guys, and I'm gonna add this to my collection and hopefully get to read all about 2 other books. These might be random, but maybe relevant to you. It's a Navy SEALs book. It's called Leaders Inside Out by Rob Robertson. My brother recommended this to me, so I'm gonna read it. It's just about leadership, I guess, so it sounds pretty interesting. As a former nicotine user, Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking. Apparently Brian Rose of London Real read this and it helped him quit smoking. So I'm sure it's much more helpful or beneficial than just for your nicotine addiction. So I'm excited to read that. And I don't know, this is gonna be a lot more than I thought, but I hope that you guys will benefit from the Starting Strength and I can bring you some info. So we'll see. Peace. Soon.
All personalized, really cool shit. It's a great place for us to film our own content, events that bring people into town, the whole nine. We also have our you have to find the exit strategy, because if you don't, you're going to... They lead better people than they walked in.
Beautiful day in Denver here, so I'm gonna enjoy my morning. Enjoy my day off training. I have to go to work in a little bit, then a pool party or something. So trying to be social today. And one thing I do want to do is weigh in for you all. Last night, got nothing on me. 204.8. This is how we're spending our Sunday morning. Trained legs yesterday, very grateful for how my body feels. My body feels awesome. Nice and sore in all the areas I trained. Quads aren't terribly sore, but who gets sore quads these days anyways? That's the goal. But with all the volume and all the practicing I'm doing, it's hard to get them sore, but I wouldn't call them untrained. They definitely feel great. So this is my, I would say, beginner therapy routine to recover a knee that doesn't have extension. So the way it worked at physical therapy is my therapist had me basically dynamic stretch in a less stable position, and then do exercises for terminal knee extension. But basically, without lifting weights, I'm gonna show you how I strengthened and gained mobility and basically lifted weights effectively for the area that was so screwed up. So this is the training for this knee. It's not the heavy lifting for it. This is the lengthening and getting my mind muscle connection there to get the muscle longer. So first, forgot what we call it, maybe terminal knee extension with a towel, or it's not exactly what it's called, but that's just what we'll call it, extension into the towel. So what I do is press downward from my knee, push into the towel, and my VMO, and you see my quad here shifting up. Yeah, everything's working, but I feel that direct line of pressing coming through the teardrop. So I pull my feet back, let my calf have a light stretch. Everything on the posterior chain needs to be lengthened, not lazy. So lengthen the posterior chain, then from a relaxed position at the knee, press down, relax. And basically what I'm doing here is posing my quad. As hard as I can flex the rectus femoris. I can kind of flex the teardrop. I need to really push further, but this is training me to not protect my knee from terminal knee extension and to gain strength, confidence, and gain that range. So 15 more. I know this isn't very sexy or exciting, but this is just how you have to get shit done if you want to have a life. You just gotta wake up and do it. You don't gotta go anywhere. You don't have to be with anyone. You don't need anything fancy. Just 4, same idea. 5, 6, 7, but this is more dynamic. I am basically doing what I did with the towel for 20 reps, but the beauty is I can force my heel into the ground, which was also injured. So if you watch, and I can get a much more dynamic, loaded position here. This is much more difficult than that as far as what it requires out of the patient or out of the person doing it. Also feel some glute activation, but really in the inner thigh. Okay, next progression from there is gonna be a calf stretch. The right gastroc, again, do this on whatever's injured or whatever you need. I find that I can do it pretty much just on one side for 30 seconds, and I'll do several rounds of these exercises that I'm showing you. Very basic here. All right, so now we're back on the ground, and this is going to work that distal portion of the hamstring. Distal meaning farther, proximal meaning close to the center of the body. So your proximal hamstring is going to be here, the insertions, and distal is going to be here. So if you hurt your knee, you're not really going to have many problems down here proximally. So it benefits you to understand what part of the hamstring you're talking about. So I'm not so much working the quad here, which you would think. This isn't about the quad, this is about the ham, and I'll show you again. We want to get tension through the rear, so not like this. Bring this down wherever you're comfortable, and you're just going to keep working that distal hamstring insertion. Really feel that one, and again, if you know what static stretching is or you don't know, you just saw it from the gastroc. Dynamic stretching, you just saw it here. So I guess for lack of better terms, we will just call this the glute activator. But what's most interesting is that on my injured knee, where the muscles have mostly atrophied, you would think that this, like a good or like a bad girl, an adductor raise or abductor, you think abduction would be all glute, which it is. But when I find myself pushing away and landing, everything on the inside of my leg fires. The sartorius and all the adductors fire while I abduct into something. So abduct away with the glutes, adductors stabilize and ground you. Very important if you want to strengthen parts of the knee. 6, sorry pillow, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, last one. And last but not least, just another static hamstring stretch. So again, pulling the toes up towards you, slight bend in the knee, and the idea is to posture up, get some tension. And this hurts, and you feel it, and it's no joke. So right now I feel it all in the medial distal portion of the hamstring, which is obviously extremely tight on me, but zero complaints. My knee feels better, there's much less pain, and everything's coming together. So instead of doing cardio, or instead of, I don't know, doing anything else, this is exactly what I need to be doing right now, and I know that. So I just gotta do it. All right, everyone, so that more or less concludes what I'm doing for my lower body almost every day. Part of those exercises I do before I train legs, which is something I've learned to do. My physical therapist kind of gave me a blueprint. It was like week 1, gain mobility, week 2, gain more mobility, week 3, gain strength, and learn new movement patterns, and so on for 2 months. So when we were done, he basically just said, good luck, because there's really not much else you can say. That I took bits and pieces from only what he taught me, and I'm using whatever is most correlated to not having knee pain. So if I were to get on the wall and do weighted wall sits on my toes or something, it doesn't improve my knee pain. But what does improve is if one day I feel tight and then I grab the band and I'm locking and pressing, and then I can go squat and that doesn't bother me. Whereas if I warmed up and then just went into training with weights, no matter what the exercise, even if it was therapeutic, it wouldn't feel right. So I've learned that, nothing he told me. I didn't want it to go that way, but that's just the way this cookie crumbles. I'm gonna do the 4 band exercises he taught me, and then it would have been 3 rounds of which you saw, 3 rounds of this, and nothing wrong with that, starting a day off. Talk about active rest. I very much recommend that you all get in touch with a physical therapist sooner rather than later. In my opinion, you will all need one eventually. So, do you want to go when you need one, or go when you think it might prevent you from ever needing one? Anyways, here we go. I'll catch you guys in the next video.